Hello and welcome once again to this online session in the subject of signals and systems. Currently we are discussing transform domain representation of signals and systems, and in the last online session we introduced ourselves with different tools under Fourier analysis. Let us try to review some of the points that we discussed in the last lecture. We identified that Fourier analysis tools is basically a set of important mathematical transforms that are used to represent signals and systems in frequency domain. This Fourier analysis tool contains mathematical transforms both for continuous time domain as well as discrete time domain, and they are further classified on the basis of the nature of signal or the function whose transformation we are interested in. This classification is primarily in terms of periodic functions and aperiodic functions. For periodic functions, we have Fourier series as a mathematical transform, whereas for aperiodic functions or signals, we have Fourier transform. Yes. We also introduced ourselves in the last online session with the concept of signal spectrum. Signal spectrum is basically the graphical representation of signal in frequency domain, and this primarily consists of two graphs. One is amplitude versus frequency and another is phase versus frequency. These are popularly called as amplitude spectrum as well as phase spectrum. In the last online session, we also discussed some of the common conventions which are used in drawing signal spectrum. In today's online session, let us start with the first mathematical transform under Fourier analysis for periodic functions in continuous time domain. That is, let us start with the study of continuous time Fourier series. As mentioned, continuous time Fourier series is primarily a tool to analyze periodic signals in frequency domain. In Fourier series representation, any periodic signal is represented as linear combination of, that is, summation of sine and cosine signals which may have different magnitudes, frequency and phase. So the whole idea is that any periodic signal, which may be a triangular signal, which may be a trapezoidal signal, which may be a square wave, if a signal is periodic, then Fourier series representation allows to represent that periodic signal as summation of sine and cosine signals. The alternative way of representing such periodic signal is also in terms of complex exponential. That is, as a periodic signal can be represented in terms of summation of sine and cos signal, same way a periodic signal can also be represented as summation of complex exponential signals. Popularly, Fourier series representations are available in three different forms. These are namely trigonometric form Fourier series representation, polar or harmonic form Fourier series representation, and the last one is complex exponential form of Fourier series representation. In this online session, we would try to take each of this one by one, trying to understand that what is the mathematical transform or what is the mathematical relation which is used in this representation. Let us start with the trigonometric form of Fourier series representation. Then, for any periodic signal x of t, not necessary that this signal has to be a sinusoidal signal, this can be any signal, but it has to be periodic. The shape of the signal here does not matter. What matters is the periodicity of the signal. It means that the signal should be repetitive in nature. So any periodic signal x of t with fundamental period t0 can be represented using trigonometric form representation as follows. X of t, which is our periodic signal, is represented as a0 plus summation n from 1 to infinity an cos n omega 0 t plus bn sin n omega 0 t, where omega 0 is the fundamental frequency represented in radians per second and given as 2 pi by t0. Here a0 and an and bn are called the coefficients of Fourier series and they are defined by this relation. A0 is 1 upon t0 integration t0 to t0 plus t0. It means that we are supposed to integrate it over one period. This period can be minus t0 by 2 to plus t0 by 2, 0 to t0, or any duration which represents one period of x of t. So a0 is equal to 1 upon t0 integration over one period x of t dt. An in general is represented as 2 upon t0 integration over one period x of t cos n omega 0 t dt. It means that a1 would have an integration of x of t cos omega 0 t dt. a2 would have integration x of t cos 2 omega 0 t dt, and so on. Similarly, the Fourier coefficient Bn, which is with sin n omega 0 t, is defined as 2 upon t0 integration over one period x of t sin n omega 0 t dt. Here one can understand that a0 is a constant which represents the component with zero frequency, which is popularly called as DC component. Further, if we notice in the expression, then sine and cosine terms basically occurs with frequencies that are harmonically related. What do we mean by harmonically related? Then if a frequency is an integer multiple of the fundamental frequency, we call such frequencies to be harmonically related. So say for example, for the fundamental frequency omega 0, if we consider n to be equal to 2, then we would have cos 2 omega 0 t, sin 2 omega 0 t. So this would primarily be the second harmonic. So the periodic signal x of t is basically represented as summation of sinusoidal and cosinusoidal signal, where signal occurs with different amplitudes an and bn and different frequencies, and these frequencies are basically harmonically related to the fundamental frequency omega 0. We would discuss examples based on this, but at least at this point of time one can understand that the nature of x of t, the shape of x of t can be anything. The necessary condition is that x of t has to be periodic, and we are representing this periodic signal as summation of sine and cosine signals. If we try to look at some special cases in this relation, then suppose that the periodic signal x of t is even. Then we understand here that if x of t is even, cos itself is an even function, so this would basically be multiplication of two even signals, whereas here we would have x of t as even and sine is odd, so we have multiplication of even and odd signals. This would result into bn equal to 0. So if a signal is x of t, the coefficient of sinusoidal term would be 0, and hence x of t would simply be represented as a0 plus summation n from 1 to infinity an cos n omega 0 t. Similarly, if the periodic signal x of t is odd, then in case of bn, odd and odd would become even, whereas these functions would primarily become odd, and hence their integration would result into 0. So if a periodic signal x of t is an odd signal, then in the representation of x of t, we would only have terms which are sinusoidal terms. That is, we would have summation n from 1 to infinity dn sin n omega 0 t, a0, as well as terms associated with cos n omega 0 t will be 0. So this representation is basically trigonometric form representation for a periodic signal x of t. Let us try to move to the second form of representation of Fourier series, which is polar or harmonic form of representation. This form of representation can be easily derived from the earlier case of trigonometric representation. What is this form? For any signal x of t with a fundamental period t0, we can represent x of t alternatively as x of t equal to d0 plus summation n from 1 to infinity dn cos n omega 0 t minus phi n. So here we are representing x of t just in terms of cosine signal, and we know that this is possible to do because sine can always be represented in terms of cosine also. So here x of t is represented as summation of cosine signals which may have different amplitudes, which would have different frequencies which are harmonically related with the fundamental frequency omega 0, and in addition we have the phase angle phi. The coefficients in this expression, that is d0 and dn, can be conveniently derived from the coefficients of trigonometric form representation. d0 basically represents the value of DC component, and the value of d0 would be same as a0. Whereas the value of dn, primarily the term dn cos n omega 0 t minus phi n, basically represents the nth harmonic component of signal x of t. Why nth harmonic component? Because dn cos n omega 0 t is a component which has a frequency of n omega 0. So it is a component which has a frequency n times the fundamental frequency, and hence it is called nth harmonic component. For such a component, the coefficient dn is defined as under root of an square plus bn square, where an square and bn square are nothing but the coefficients which we have defined in trigonometric form representation. The thing that remains is the angle or the phase angle phi n. Phi n would basically be equal to tan inverse bn by an. So we understand that this polar form or harmonic form of representation basically can be derived from the trigonometric form, and it primarily consists of a series of only cosine terms. We understand in the last online session we discussed some standard conventions which are used in drawing a signal spectrum. At that time we had discussed that generally the phase of a signal is represented in regards with a cosine signal. So if we have sine terms, we convert sine terms into cos terms so as to account for the phase. So maybe this form of representation, that is the polar form of representation of Fourier series for a periodic signal x of t, may be more convenient in drawing the signal spectrum. Let us try to look at the third popular form of representation of Fourier series, which is in terms of complex exponential. Again, this form of representation of a periodic signal x of t in terms of complex exponential can easily be derived from its trigonometric form using the standard Euler's identity for sine and cos functions. As per this complex exponential form, a periodic signal x of t with a fundamental period t0 can be represented as x of t equal to c0 plus from summation n from 1 to infinity cn e raised to power j n omega 0 t plus summation n from 1 to infinity c of minus n e raised to power minus j n omega 0 t, where omega 0 is the fundamental frequency in radians per second. This expression itself shows that this has resemblance with the standard Euler's identity. Now if you see, then this primarily represents a component which is having n equal to 0, that is, it basically represents zero frequency. This term represents frequency terms which is from n 1 to infinity. Here in this expression we have a term e raised to power minus j n omega 0 t. Now if I assume n to be equal to minus m, my limits would change from minus 1 to minus infinity, and this can be written as cm e raised to power jm omega 0 t, which would be similar to this notation. So if I simply substitute n equal to minus m, then this limit would change from from minus 1 to minus infinity, and here the term would be same as this. So this represents zero frequency, this represents all positive frequencies, that is value of n from 1 to infinity, and this term would basically represent value of n from minus infinity to minus 1. So combinedly, all the three terms can be written as summation n from minus infinity to infinity cn e raised to power j n omega 0 t. Just to make you understand once again, suppose that we take the value of n to be equal to 0. So this would be c0 e raised to power 0. So this gives us the first term. Now for all positive values of n, that is from 1 to infinity, it gives us the second term. And for all negative values of n, that is from minus infinity to 1, I will get this particular term. When n is from minus infinity to minus 1, cn e raised to power j n omega 0 t, this is exactly equivalent to n from 1 to infinity c of minus n e raised to power minus j n omega 0 t. So the total of these three is basically this expression. So this is the complex exponential form of Fourier series representation for x of t. Here again, Cn is called the coefficient of Fourier series, and it is given as Cn equal to 1 by t0 integration over 1 period t0 x of t e raised to power minus j n omega 0 t dt. We understand that in this complex exponential form of representation, we now have the concept of both negative as well as positive frequencies. So this form of representation of x of t would primarily give us a spectrum which would be a double-sided spectrum. The value of the coefficient here, that is Cn, is again related with the coefficient in trigonometric form and is primarily given as Cn is basically 1 by 2 an minus jbn, and c of minus n, that is for the value of coefficient for negative values of n, is 1 by 2 an plus jbn. These relations are absolutely not difficult to derive if you try to put little efforts, taking trigonometric form of representation and substituting cos n omega 0 t and sin n omega 0 t with their Euler's identity, it would be convenient, it would be possible to reach to this expression in a very simple form. Let us take one special case here. If x of t is real, which would be generally the case that we would take so far as this course is concerned, then the coefficient, the positive and the negative coefficients primarily would have the same magnitude but opposite phase. That is, they would be conjugate of one another. That is, c of minus n would be equal to conjugate of c of n. Yes, this is what we have also discussed when we were discussing signal spectrum, that if x of t is basically real, The amplitude would remain same and the phase would be opposite in terms of their polarity. So this is the complex exponential form of Fourier series representation. So we have primarily seen trigonometric form, we have seen the polar form of representation, and this is the complex exponential form. Now before we conclude this online session, let us try to discuss one important concept, which is the convergence of Fourier series. We are aware that when we discussed Laplace transform and Z transform, we were conscious about whether the Laplace transform or the Z transform that we calculate is finite or infinite. And we have stated that Laplace transform and Z transform only exist in ROCs, that is region of convergence. Whenever we are taking a mathematical transform, it is necessary to see that the resultant transform does not end up into an infinite value. Otherwise, there is no point of taking the transform. So, whenever we are taking a mathematical transform, we always check the convergence of the transform. In case of Laplace transform and Z transform, we define this convergence in terms of ROCs, that is region of convergence. In case of Fourier transform here, we would state the convergence of Fourier transform by few conditions that a periodic signal x of t must satisfy. If these conditions are satisfied by x of t, then Fourier series is bound to converge, and we would say that Fourier series basically exists. So let us try to see these conditions for convergence. So basically the Fourier series representation of a periodic signal x of t exists only if following conditions are satisfied. The first condition says that x of t should be absolutely integrable over period t0. That is, integration over period t0 mod x of t dt should give us a finite value. This condition is very simple to understand because if x of t is not integrable over a period, Fourier series, that is the value of Fourier series, would basically be infinite, and hence there would not be any meaning of representing a signal using a Fourier series. So the first condition is that x of t should be absolutely integrable over the period t0. The second condition for the convergence of Fourier series is that x of t should have finite number of maxima and minima within a finite interval of time, say 1 period. What do we mean by maxima and minima? Maxima primarily represents that instance of time when x of t achieves maximum value, and minima represents that instance of time when x of t achieves the minimum value. As per this condition, x of t should have finite number of maximas and minimas in a given time period. Let us try to understand this by taking an example. Here I have shown two waveforms. The first is our standard waveform of a sinusoidal signal, and we understand that the signal is periodic, and over one period, that is over one cycle, we have one maxima, which is the positive peak, and one minima, which is the negative peak. The second figure that I have shown here is also a signal which is periodic in nature. Try to understand that here, if you consider the time period or the part of the waveform between time t equal to 0 to t equal to 1, then the same part of the waveform is also repeating from time t equal to 1 to 2. So basically this signal is periodic in nature with a period of 1 second. If you try to see what is happening inside this duration of one period, then we understand that this seems something like a sinusoidal signal. However, the frequency of sinusoidal signal is changing. and from frequency infinite, that is time period equal to 0, to some finite time period, the frequency is decreasing. So initially there is very high oscillation and the oscillation gradually reduces. Now for a signal like this, if you try to calculate maximas available, then this would be one maxima, second maxima, third maxima, and so on. So there are large number of maximas. And if I say that initial rate of oscillation is infinite, then there would basically be infinite maximas and infinite minima. So as per the second condition, we can find Fourier series representation for the signal here, which is a simple sinusoidal signal, because it has finite number of maxima and minima. But it is not possible to find Fourier series representation for such a signal, even if it is periodic. But because it has infinite number of maxima and minima, its Fourier series does not exist. Fine. Let us take the third condition for convergence of Fourier series. The third condition says that x of t should have finite number of discontinuities within a finite interval of time, that is, say for example, one period. What do we understand by discontinuity in x of t? Discontinuity basically represents that instances of time when there is sudden change in the value of x of t. Let me try to explain this by taking an example. Here I have taken a simple example of a square wave. It is certainly periodic in nature, and if you try to consider one period, then in one period there are basically two discontinuities. Which are these discontinuities? Say for example, if you take this cycle, then here the value from +1 becomes -1 suddenly within no time. So this is first discontinuity, when the value of a signal is changing from 1 to -1 in no time. Similarly, in the in the same cycle, we also have transition from -1 to 1. So in one cycle we primarily have two discontinuities. Because the signal has finite number of discontinuities over one period, it is possible to calculate Fourier series representation for such a signal. However, consider the second signal, which is shown exactly below it. This signal is also a periodic signal. See, the pattern of the signal is repeating at every 8 seconds. So if you see the nature of the signal from 0 to 8, the same nature of the signal also exists from 8 to 16. So signal is certainly periodic. However, if we try to count the discontinuities present in this signal, then let us try to take one period from time t equal to 0 to time t equal to 8. We understand that here the value of a signal is reducing from 1 to 0 in steps, and the size of the steps and the duration over which the step is taken primarily is tending towards 0. It means that initially the step is large and the duration for which the signal is constant is large. Then this is basically decreasing. The step size is also decreasing. The duration is decreasing. Step size is also decreasing. So one can understand that as it tends to 0 at time t equal to 8, primarily it would have infinite steps. Infinite steps means infinite discontinuities. So even though the second signal is periodic in nature, we would not be able to define Fourier series for it because it contains infinite discontinuities. So these are basically three conditions which are necessary to be satisfied for Fourier series to exist for a given periodic signal x of t. These conditions for existence of Fourier series were proposed by a German mathematician, Dirichlet, and hence these conditions are also known as Dirichlet conditions for existence of Fourier series. Right? With this, we conclude this online session. Thank you for joining this session. Thank you very much.